The Wandering Tavern is 15 layers of corruption, gambling, exotic restaurants, hotels, expansive workstations and buzzing accommodations. Amongst these are 23 unique locations that range from lavish establishments down to the city's seedy underbelly. I've got detailed battle maps of the entire floating metropolis. As the sun sets, shadowy forms seep from dark corners to materialise throughout the Wandering Tavern. Luckily, I was able to collect scathing testimonies from over 30 NPC patrons and staff, and even the lingering spirits of the deceased. The Wandering Tavern, available now at hatdebuilder.com. Hi, my name's Yasmin and I'm the DM.
Hi, my name is Samantha. I play Elora Greyvale and she is a sorceress from the province of Nephalia.
Hi, I'm Ryan. I play Ogvar Shawfort, a goat-herding, mushroom-seeking ranger from Kessig.
Hi, I'm Rick, and I play Otto, a spring sage from Hanweir sworn to the land, wandering the plain and setting wrongs to right with his ursine companion, Bojo.
Housekeeping! Hello everybody! After completely failing to release what we had intended last week, my fault, but don't tell anyone I admitted that, we decided to make it up to you fantastic folks out there by releasing an extra episode. Yes, a whole second episode in a week. Fantastic! How could you not love us for that? Anyway, here it is, episode 159, and we hope that you enjoy it. Next stop on their systematic search of Saltstone was the former Lord's mansion, where acquisitions were to be significantly more indulgent and, indeed, affluent. With the ranger's recreational needs in mind, Ogvar opted to purloin a pool table. Esther selected an ornamental sword showpiece. Elora chose wall candelabra, canvases and a fire companion set, whilst Otto only had eyes for a rather magnificent magnolia that had somehow survived and, indeed, thrived. The furnishings were lavish loot and would undeniably offer a feeling of opulence aboard their boat. The apothecary provided a few pieces, but the merchant store afforded pickings of a more practical nature. Weaponry, water skins, marbles and maintenance kits, and a magnifying glass were just a few of the items to add to their inventory. As dusk began to descend, our heroes headed back to the harbour and hauled everything aboard, including themselves, for what they hoped would be a quiet night. Episode 159. Dark Disturbances.
So, off pod, you've done your Kevin MacLeod routine, and you've provided me with a design for what you want the ship to look like post-renovation. So, looking at this, Elora, give me some highlights of what's going to happen.
Well, seeing as I've given you my drawing,
There you go.
thank you very much. And that piece of paper.
Paid earlier.
Okay, so I think what we decided on pod as to how we would perhaps just restructure this very slightly. Most of the things that need changing on this ship is woodwork. So we need to put stairs in. We decided to reinstate the berth deck that had been removed and build cabin areas in. So it's mainly walls, doors and stairs effectively, and reinstating one of the ship decks that would have been there. The other thing they would have done is we would want to take down the wall for where the hounds were, the hellhounds, where they were in that room on the main deck as we first went down, just shunt that wall back about 5 foot to accommodate the stairs. It's not really a scale plan, it's just a general change.
Okay, excellent. So I've been through that. As I said at the end of last session, you were getting allocated 12 resource points from all of the lumber that you've scavenged from Saltstone. So going through your plan, I've tallied up across your changes how many resource points that will cost you, and that will cost you the full 12 resource points. So you will use every single available resource to make these changes, and you will be left with no other lumber to do anything with afterwards. Okay?
Yeah, okay, that figures. I've got a whole deck to put in, I suppose.
But what I will say, so when you're making the cabins, the resource point used to make the cabins will be, you can use some of that resource to make basic wardrobe, basic bed and chair. So you will be able to lightly kit out some of these areas as well. Okay?
So not the life of luxury, but we'll get by.
Yeah, essentially, the resources that you've got will allow you to make the structural changes. So putting in reasonably safe stairs, putting in walls, putting in just the basics essentially. So I've got here, for example, you've got 10 cabins, 9 including a medical bay, and it will use 1 resource point to do 2 cabins, and that's to build walls, dividers, and will also cover your some basic furniture to make it a cabin. So if, for example, you can make a bed frame. So yeah, they're not going to be luxury, but you will have also managed to scavenge some luxury items from Saltstone, some very nice furniture and fittings which you can obviously use as well. Okay, so you are now back aboard your ship, and the light is fading fast now. It's slowly dropping down to evening time. All of you can hear in the distance the faint rumbling of an oncoming storm. It's very far away at the moment, but you can hear it. And looking over to the horizon, the sun's dipping just below, so you've got a very dark sky with bright orange hues on the waterline. But you can see smudges in the distance of what looks like quite heavy clouds.
Ogvar?
Yes?
Have we... You did shut the sails down, didn't you? It looks like we've got a storm coming this way. I've just been on... Can I retcon that?
Why?
Because if I've just been on top deck to see the storm coming, I'd know whether the sails were shut.
No, you can continue.
I'll rephrase it then. Would Alora have noticed whether the sails
That's metagaming.
up or down? Do what?
That's metagaming. No, you're continuing with this line of thought.
Ogvar, I've just come down from the top deck, and I must admit I didn't notice whether the sails were up or down. Looks like we've got an oncoming storm. Were they up or down? I've had a long day.
I don't know, dearie. You could go up and check, couldn't you?
Alora trudges up the ramp, takes a look up through the ramp. Does she see whether the sails are up or down?
Not if you're looking up through the ramp, you're not.
She goes to the top of the ramp. And she looks in the directions of the sails, fore and aft. Are they up or down?
They are.
Mast.
Yeah, they're half mast. I'd say probably, having been docked for quite a while, either Ogvar or Eric would have stowed the sails away.
Okay. In that case, she's going to wander back down. Yeah, they're down. Eric must have done it during the day or something.
That
Storm
answers that
coming
one.
this way, I think. Possibly.
Can you feel it in your bones?
No, I can hear it.
Oh, okay.
And I can see clouds.
What, from here?
No, from up on the top
Oh.
deck.
So you could see the clouds, but you couldn't see whether the sails were up or down.
She was looking into the middle distance like a catalogue model.
Bloody hell, wouldn't want to buy from that catalogue. That'd be a catalogue of errors.
Oh, God, no.
That's a throwback.
That was episode 8.
Okay, So yeah, you're below decks. You can see Paul floating about. He appears to be flitting from pile of new item to pile of new item. You suspect he's taking a look through it, but he's actually just floating through it.
Okay.
Eric has come up to join you. He's clearly been scribbling away in his books, doing a bit more research throughout the day. So you're all down on the next deck down. What are you? Yeah, you're on main deck. What are you doing? What are your plans? So you can, throughout the evening, Otto, if you've got your wood shape spell, you can start making changes to the ship.
Yeah, I've
While
got,
the
I've
night
got 3
goes
wood
on,
shapes
but-
ready, so I can spend a bit of time moulding some stairs, perhaps, and maybe a cabin.
Okay.
Well, I reckon we should leave this pile of stuff here for now. Pointless distributing this until we finish making changes that we want to make, I suppose. Apart from maybe, obviously the galley's the galley, so, Paul,
Yes.
we're going to help bring all this stuff through. We're going to rifle through the stuff we've got, and we're going to help bring this through to the galley for you, so you can start sorting yourself out in there. We bought a load of stuff from your place, from Whistlemeyer's Inn. We thought you'd like your own stuff, so that's what we've done. We've bought it for you, bought as much as possible.
Thank you, Missy. That's spectacular.
Laura hesitates just briefly. Yeah, that's great, that, Paul. Haha, yeah. She's going to eyeball the others.
Very fun.
No comments. Yeah, so she's going to start shuffling through the stuff and ferrying, like, the pots, the pans, the cutlery, the plates and whatnot. And while she's in the galley with Paul, she'll say, Paul, come here, I've got something else for you that you might appreciate.
Yes. And he floats over to you, floats through some of the tables and whatnot.
I just need to check Orland's inventory. Okay. She grabs out 6 of the meat pies out of Orland. And she's going to grab a couple of tear and share flatbreads and a loaf of bread and some 8 stagberry tarts. She's going to pop them on the side in the galley and say, I know we haven't got any solid supplies, we've got some salt, we've got some herbs and stuff like that, but here's some stuff to be going on with tonight. I'd kind of forgotten that I'd got these with everything going on, but you can make a start with these and then, we will pick some supplies up when we get to another major town or city.
Aye, miss. Okay, that'll be fine. I'll do that. And he floats off, and you see he starts lighting the furnace. Obviously, the food coming out of Orland is still warm, but he's lighting the furnace, and you see him as the furnace begins to light. He just pops them in there, obviously to keep them warm. And I imagine you go off and you start sorting some other bits out, and you will see Paul. He will appear. He will start moving some furniture around with you. And by the time you've kind of realised what he's doing, you can see that Paul has picked up a couple of these tables that you've scavenged. He's flipped them upright. He's laid cloth over the tables. He's laid the tables with cutlery and plates, and he begins serving food out. And it's a proper lovely sit-down meal. He set it up very nice, including a very wilted-looking flower in a vase in the middle of the table. And he serves up dinner for you.
Oh, cool.
So I imagine you will have a lovely meal. It'll be still quite early in the night, but you have a lovely meal. You have your tear and share flatbreads, you have your stagberry tarts, your meat pies, and for Otto and Eric, who have never tasted these delicacies before from Stagwick, they are bloody delicious. And Paul sits with you. He kind of hovers over his chair, and he makes, you see the fork move as if he's going to eat, and the fork stabs into the food and then it floats up. It goes into his ghostly mouth. The food gets pulled off of the fork and then promptly drops through down to the chair and bounces off onto the floor.
I think Alora would turn around and quietly mutter to Esther, well, Eric's puppy's going to do well out of this, isn't he?
There's not much flavour in these.
I can assure you they're actually very nice, Paul, but, perhaps you have a different palate.
And yeah, the puppy is having a marvellous time. It's slowly circling around the bottom of Paul's chair, just waiting for these morsels of food to drop through.
Fabulous.
Okay. So you have a decent meal. Once you've finished, Paul begins tidying away. You can hear the sounds of plates being floated into the kitchen and clattering around and then being scrubbed away in buckets. And yet Paul disappears to obviously clean up and fix things. So for the evening, is there anything specific you're doing? Otto, you have several uses of wood shape.
Yep, 3. I'll be using that again
3 uses.
to work on some stairs and to get a cabin ready.
Okay. So yeah, you can definitely start working. You will use up obviously some resources as you do this. I'm going to say you can probably, to make this simple, with 3 uses of wood shape and an expenditure of 1 resource point, you can get certain bits done per night. So it would take you kind of 12 nights to fully renovate the ship, and that would be obviously long hours of work and relying not only on wood shape but also the tools that you have to help speed things along. But it will effectively, with 3 uses of wood shape and 1 resource point, take you 12 nights to fully renovate the ship.
Could that be sped up by Ogvar helping?
Yeah, I imagine. Okay, if you all want to pitch in, I mean that's a pretty fast pace for a renovation of a ship, anyways. But if you're all going to pitch in, then yeah, you can probably get a little bit more done a night. I'd say it probably take you. You'll make the same expenditure, but it will take you, let's just say, 10 nights instead of 12.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think as the areas of the ship are constructed, the bits that don't need changing, Alora would go around and settle tables and chairs in various places and bolt them, use some of the brackets that she got and bolt them to the floor. Again, I'm sure Esther would help her to put up oil lamps on the walls and
yeah, you can do those miscellaneous
things like that. Just basic fixing jobs.
Yeah.
I think Alora can manage those between using mage hand and various things.
So yeah, you can 100% set up the mess hall and start setting up the stores and armory. You can find Esther down there. She's busy bolting and knocking in these kind of stands which she's made so that you can actually put weapons and armour in there, and they're going to hold in there in their positions. So yeah, you could definitely go and start kitting out the other bits of the ship and start moving some of these piles of stuff that you've got.
Yeah.
I'm not going to track it too closely in terms of how much you do per night, because over the 12 days you will obviously, 10 days you will have fully kitted out the ship. One of the bigger jobs is going to be putting the berth deck back in.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to track it too closely, as long as we're all happy that you're expending all 12 resources. Otto, you will use 3 uses of wood shape a night, and it will take you 10 days. As long as we're happy on that, I'm not too bothered.
Fantastic.
We're all happy?
That's good.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So that's how you spend the evening. You spend the evening running around, hiding things away, starting to set things up. Otto, what does your wood shape look like when you cast it?
I picture it as if moulding a slightly dry lump of clay. It takes a little bit of effort, but it just puts his hand and literally has to sculpt it into place with his hand. So don't be expecting amazing quality, because he's not a potter by any means. But you'd definitely see some interesting things like wood bending in fairly unnatural ways to form the stairs, for example.
Yeah. And I imagine as a druid and being pretty tied to the land, when you're creating things like, obviously things which have to be flat, like the floor, you're keeping them nice and flat and keeping them straight. But things like the cabins and the doorways, you're actually doing a pretty interesting job of moulding them quite naturally. And they've got these quite organic shapes, these curved shapes that look like they've been moulded. And this is where you've got the benefit. Obviously, you don't have to have a straight doorway. You can have it curved and slightly twisted, and it almost looks like it's made of like a tree trunk or roots, for example.
Yeah.
And that just seems to be the way that Otto's spell and the way that he used the spell just takes shape. So you end up with, when your cabins will be constructed, you'll end up with some quite interesting shaped rooms. And they'll all be slightly unique and different.
Sounds like
Okay.
Otto, unique and different.
Exactly. As the night wears on, you can hear the sound of this storm getting closer and closer. It's quite slow moving. It doesn't appear to be kind of coming in very fast, but it does sound heavy. It's creating quite a bit of a din at this point. So, you've done evening activities. You've probably worked quite late. The multitude of candles that Esther has nabbed will probably aid in the lighting situation, as well as this blue-green kind of dank glow which you've got from the lights on the main deck. However, I will say the blue-green dank glow, once Esther's taken a look and gone, hang on a minute, dearie, and rubbed at the lanterns themselves, these glass panels, the dankness almost disappears. They're probably quite dirty. And now you're just left with quite a cool but charming blue glow, which lights the floor.
I think in the areas where any heavy work is going on, Alora would just go down and cast light onto an object or something that's in the room for them, on the deck for them.
Okay, cool. So yeah, you begin to wind down for the evening. How do you want to spend the night? Are you setting up watches? Are you just resting? How are you doing this?
I think half.
Alora's happy.
Carry on.
Alora's happy to take a watch. She would probably hover up on the quarterdeck until the storm actually blew in, and I think she would move down to the main deck to take shelter.
Okay.
She's happy to take a watch because the guys have been working with the heavy lumber and stuff, whereas she's been going around fixing and mending and just moving stuff, less heavy work.
Okay. So you're taking first watch.
Yeah.
Nice. Is anyone else taking a watch after that?
Yeah, Ogvar doesn't mind.
Okay.
Yeah, take another one after, yeah.
And
Do a bit of rest first.
Otto will take perhaps the last watch, that way he can finish off doing his wood shaping and then get some sleep before he has to take a turn to actually keep watch.
Well, I think if we work till late, then there's only going to be probably the best part of a 7 or 8 hour period, isn't there, to split the watches up between. So.
Okay. Yeah. Sure. Give me 1 second. Can you all actually 1 second? Let me make a quick check myself. So Laura 1 to 2, Ogvar 3 to 4, Otto 5 to 6.
Yep.
Elora 2. Okay, so Elora, on your watch, can you please make me a spot check?
A spot check.
And this is dark out, but you have dark vision thanks to your eye, don't you?
Yes, I do.
That
That would be a 10 plus 7, which is a 17.
Okay, 17. But the range on that is only 60 foot on your eye for dark vision, so beyond that you have no light. With a 17. With a 17. As you begin your watch, everyone else has disappeared back downstairs to find a space to rest. You start your watch on the main deck and you see this storm rolling in. You can see the flashes of lightning and the thunder which illuminate the clouds, these heavy, thick grey clouds. And you can hear the booming sounds, and you can feel the salt spray of the water as the wind begins to whip up as the storm draws closer. before you are forced by the storm to retreat from the deck, you notice something within the clouds. As the lightning crashes and flashes, you see a large figure illuminated briefly before it disappears again.
She would obviously clock this. She would instantly think back to when they first reached Dranau, and she was running up to the church, and in the distance there was a nebel gas blowing in, although she didn't know really until what that was until that point, or after that point. But back then she remembers seeing something in the clouds in the distance. Would this be similar? Would she have seen this before?
No. No, this isn't a figure made of clouds. This is clearly something being illuminated by the lightning.
Can she make some kind of knowledge check on this?
Let's see. Yes, you can make a knowledge nature check.
I don't have that, so that'd be a flat 0. Oof. That's just a 6 with nothing to add.
Okay, yeah, no, the glimpse that you caught of it was far too fleeting for you to be able to identify anything, any real features. You know that it was big, and the storm is probably about half an hour out of actually rolling in and hitting the decks. But the figure that was illuminated was very large indeed. But it most certainly wasn't a humanoid figure.
I think she would go down decks and quietly go and wake Esther.
Okay. Yeah, you go and wake Esther.
Esther.
Oh, what is it doing? She's wearing her nightie again with her long nightcap and
Esther,
bottle.
can you come up to the top deck? It's a bit wild up there, but the storm hasn't actually hit yet.
Oh, 1 second, dear. Let me just get dressed. And she rolls out of her hammock quite ungracefully. The hammock flips upside down. Esther goes with it. Her blanket falls on top of her. The pillow falls on top of her head and bounces off. Oh, bugger it all, dearie.
I think Laura would just look on the sad side.
And she begins to get dressed. You can see she wasn't fully undressed. She still had her trousers on and socks on and whatnot. So she pulls her boots on and tucks her shirt in and pops this thick, long, waxy overcoat she has over the top. She arms herself and follows you up to the top deck.
I'm sorry to have called you up here, Esther, but up there, when the lightning illuminated the sky, there was a large figure. It seemed nondescript, but it was huge.
Ogvar, give me a 20% increment, please.
70 to 90.
And one from you too, Rick.
80 to 100.
Okay. Okay. As you say that, there is another light flash of lightning. And as you watch, and Esther stands there watching with you, you again see this form briefly illuminated before disappearing again.
Did it look closer?
Yeah, I mean the storm is moving in. It does look like it's
Moving
moving
in with
closer.
the storm.
Yes, almost certainly.
What do you think of that, Esther?
I don't know, dearie. I don't think I've ever really. I'm not sure. No, I've never seen anything like that around you now. It might be something more local, perhaps.
Is this a reason to wake everybody else up?
Well, I'm not sure, dearie. It'd be your call. if it's moving with the storm, then I don't know. I'm not sure.
Alora's very conflicted. She doesn't want to wake the others up, but at the same time there's been a lot of strange stuff. She's going back down decks.
Okay.
And she's going to go from sort of bedroll to bedroll at this point, because I doubt there's hammocks up, but bedroll to bedroll or whatever, and she's going to wake everybody quietly.
Okay. So you go round and you wake everyone.
Yeah.
You wake Ogvar, you wake Otto, you wake Eric, who probably rolls back over and falls to sleep again.
Yeah, I'm really sorry to wake you guys. I did get Esther up for a second opinion, but there's something silhouetted in the clouds every time the lightning comes. The storm's rolling in, but I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is, that's why I'm waking up.
I presume it's not just another cloud.
No, it's not just another cloud. I don't know what it is, but I don't like it.
Oh, I suppose we best get up there and have a look then.
Yeah, I'm sorry guys.
Okay. So you head up to the top deck. You get yourself ready. You head up to the top deck, and you look out across the waves. You have started to you start to be splattered by some squally rain. It's cold. It's icy cold. And the wind is definitely picking up. You can see the tendrils of Esther's hair that hang loose and being whipped around her face. As you look towards the skies, and the storm is certainly closer at this point. And you watch for a good couple of minutes as the lightning flashes and the storm rages, and you don't see anything. As hard as you strain your eyes, you think you see something, but then you just realise it's just the kind of the black splotches that are left on your eyes after the flashes clear off. You think you see things, but you don't see anything.
I didn't imagine it. That's why I got Esther. Esther saw it.
Yes, there definitely was something there, dearie. Mind you, that could have been the communion wine.
Alora kind of, her face sags a bit, like...
What exactly did it look like when you did see it?
Yeah, it was just like a shape, like a form. I couldn't say it was human, I couldn't say it was an actual face. It was just an outline, like a form, silhouetted when the lightning came.
Like a beast?
It could have been anything, but it was huge. Just unnervingly large. It's not right. It could, I don't know. Perhaps this is a nebel gas blowing in. I don't know. But I wasn't comfortable with it, which is why I woke you up. So it's up to you whether half of you want to go back to bed or whether you want to hang around for a bit. I don't know. But if something happened and I hadn't called you, you wouldn't have been very happy. There's no point in being caught on the back foot.
I think I've very much learned to trust your instincts. I think we'd be silly to ignore them, wouldn't we?
Well, there's a lot of bad stuff happened, things that we didn't see coming. I don't want to be blind to this as well, if indeed there is anything. I'd rather stay up all night and not get it wrong.
So is the lightning cold sort of coming sort of every few minutes, or...?
Yeah, it's
fairly constant.
It's pretty constant. This lightning is, it's quite an impressive light show. It's fork lightning. It comes with an almighty crack and a boom, and yeah, you can feel the ship really rocking now as the waves are beginning to pick up, and you've got this cold, squally rain. It is a large storm.
Ogvar will walk to the handrail, whatever it's called, and cast Hawkeye on himself, which is something he got through his bloodline, I think.
Okay.
Basically, it gives me so my range weapons increased by 50%, but I gain a +5 competency bonus to do spot checks for 10 minutes. So I just want to sort of stare out and sort of try and make something out.
Beady eyes.
Really.
Okay. Yes, you can make me a spot check with a +5 then.
Decent wonder. That's good, because I rolled a 3. Which is going to be a 3 plus an 11 plus a 5 for 19.
Oh, he's gone from a 3 to a 19. Awesome.
Yeah, I was going to say you can take a 10 if you're spending a couple of minutes doing that. But with a 19, you are, yes. So you stare out quite cinematically over the side of the ship. The waves are slapping up the side, and you get the salt spray blowing upwards. Your hair kind of flying in the wind as it catches.
I told you, catalogue model. Middle distance.
Or the brooding.
Captain Ogvar.
The water, the rain that splatters down across your face is icy cold, but you are laser focused. Your eyes narrowed as you stare to the horizon.
Oh, it's amazing.
Oh, there's a punchline somewhere for all this.
Let's put it this way: his
You see nothing.
His eyebrows won't be bristling in the wind because he ain't got any left after burning them all.
The flashes of
The
thunder.
rain runs into my eyes. There's no brow to stop it.
The flashes of lightning illuminate your face in this kind of cinematic, dramatic, kind of backlit aura. And as you stare out, you spend a while just looking at the storm, watching the lightning as it forks through the sky. And with a little time spent doing it, and your eyes flitting around and barely blinking, you do indeed see this form. As the lightning flashes and it passes in front of the bolt. It is fast. And you can make me a knowledge nature check, please.
Hold on. See you somewhere. Nature. Cool. 9 plus 12 for 21.
Yeah, 21. Nice, yeah. This is a very, very familiar form to you. This is clearly the form of a bird in flight. But it is a bloody big bird.
Okay. So, yes, yes, Alora, I see it. It's following it with like that. Following it backwards and forth. Look at it again. It appears to be a rather large bird.
A bird?
A bird.
A bird?
A bird.
What sort of bird?
Bird?
Can you point it out to me?
So yeah, sort of scaring. Like every time he sees it, he sort of tries to point it out to people.
Yeah.
It just looks like he's waving for help.
Yeah. Okay, so with Ogvar trying to help and assist, you can all roll me another spot check with the exception of Ogvar, who doesn't need to. And what you can do is, I would normally give you a bonus on this because Ogvar is helping you, but to simplify things, you can roll with advantage. So roll the die twice, take the higher result.
This is everybody.
Everyone, apart from Ogvar.
Oh God, what?
That's good or bad, isn't it? It's very good or very bad.
I'm gonna
He
get
snake-eyed it.
Go on.
Not quite, but it was a pair of 6s. So advantage is not helping at all there. However, with a plus 18, it still does take it to 24.
Okay,
Oh,
Laura.
right. Her first roll is a 7 plus a 7 for 14, and her second roll is an 8 plus a 7 for 15.
Okay, so with a 24 Otto, you indeed do spot the creature that Ogvar is currently tracking. Ilora, you don't. Your cork bucks you in the eye and you then have to recover from your cork smacking you in the face.
Yes, it's windy.
Otto, you two can make me a knowledge nature check.
Okay, so plus 16 to this roll, and we've got an 18, so 34.
Oh, fuck me.
God.
Okay, yeah, this is definitely some kind of bird. This is definitely a very big bird. What type of bird it may be, you do not know.
Oh. It's a very big bird.
Apart from feckin' huge.
Well, that's great. Now we've established that, do we need to be staying on deck? Do we need to be Just ignoring it?
At this point, you are shouting over the roar of the storm as the storm has come
Do
in.
we need to be ignoring it?
Pardon?
Is this something that we need to be concerned about?
It's over there!
And Laura just palms up, like, dunno.
Ogvar just points like down at the below decks.
Laura puts a thumbs up, and then she makes for the ramp and goes below decks into the main deck.
Okay.
Also, he's going to shrug and do something
Head.
silly.
Do something silly, did you say?
Yes.
Oh dear.
Oh God.
Well,
What silly thing is Otto doing?
as he's got all these new options that he hasn't really explored much, he's going to draw back his mind to a time that he spent in the swamps around Kessig and recall one of the weirder creatures that he's seen, and he's going to attempt to take on that form. A ball of light that flies perfectly through the air. A will-o-wisp.
Ah.
Now these are
Okay.
electric and light-based creatures that in their natural form can make themselves invisible, but that's not something I can take on at this stage. But it does allow me a perfect fly speed of 50 feet around.
Lovely. What colour are you glowing?
A nice electric blue, because it's supposed to fit in here.
Okay. Excellent. Yeah, you turn into a glowing ball.
And then I'm going to
Um,
fly in the direction of the big bird.
okay. You start flying out from the ship, and I imagine that Ogvar and Laura, you will see this before you head down deck. You will turn around, Tracy is following you, only to see Esther kind of stood there going, bye, waving, and a glowing ball of light making its way out over the waves. Otto, you begin to go, and you fly out, and you can see the storm growing ever closer. What are you aiming to do here? Are you just trying to fly into the storm?
I'm trying to get close enough to get more detail on this bird. I want to know if I want to be able to see whether it's looking at the ship in terms of potential prey, or whether it's just passing by, or whether it's something just genuinely rare and interesting that he, as being a nature-interested guy, would perhaps just want a close look at.
Okay, so as you fly out, you've probably passed about 80 foot into across the water. Are you keeping this low level above the water, or are you actually going upwards?
I'll go up.
You're going up?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me make a quick check here.
That doesn't sound ominous at all. That's about.
I've just rolled a nat 20.
Hi.
I like this guy. Okay, so as you begin to fly upwards and outwards, trying to get a glimpse of this creature, it is incredibly quick, and you can tell that its fly speed is definitely greater than yours. You catch glimpses of it as it dances between the poles of lightning as they come crashing down. And you realise as you get closer, this creature is big. This creature is very big indeed. In fact, this creature is feckin' massive. It is humongous.
Is it classed as gargantuan?
Its wingspan is, you would say, probably about 80 foot wide.
Whoa!
It is enormous.
How big was that, sorry?
80 foot. And as you get closer, you see its head cock to the side. This predatorial move as one beady eye affixes on your glowing form. With a 34 on a nat 20, it perceives you.
Ah, shit.
And you see as it dances between the lightning, its head and its gaze is fixed on you as it twists and turns, performing these almost impossible aerial maneuvers, almost flipping 180 degrees on itself.
its eye, its head tilts the other way. It's keeping you in its view the entire time. What are you doing, Otto? Crying?
So I have a plan.
He has a plan.
It's not necessarily
okay.
a good plan, but I'm told a bad plan's better than no plan.
Are you going to turn into a shrimp and just drop into the water?
You're very, very close. Very, very close. But I think we're going to make it a little bit dramatic. Now, first thing I'm going to do, because I may need help here, is if you imagine me sort of having moved diagonally up towards this bird, I'm going to try and move diagonally, basically change the direction by about 90 degrees. So I'm still going up, but then back towards the ship.
Okay, yeah.
And at the point that it gets close enough to try and make me its next meal...
Great, he's luring it towards us. Brilliant.
I need help. I didn't expect it to turn around and try and eat me. It's a very unpleasant feeling.
Oh, it isn't trying to eat you yet, I will say.
Okay.
It's just watching you.
I'm still doing this, because if it's looking at me like I might be a meal, I mean, a glowing ball of light, I imagine, doesn't make for a great meal, but if it's decided to do that, then I need to take some action. So, so moving sort of diagonally up and still back towards the ship, just in case it does decide that actually I am appetising enough to spend some time on. If it comes close enough to try and bite me, I am, as you say, going to turn into something a little less appetising. I'll turn back into myself briefly, and then when I get near the water, I'm going to turn into a giant octopus.
Okay. So you begin to take this action, you begin to head back towards the ship. I'm going to say you reach your 50-foot movement limit.
Yep.
As you are now 30 foot away from the ship, 50 foot away from the creature, as the storm has really rolled in, and you can all now see this creature looming, and you realise that's fucking massive, that's big, and the storm is whipping up, which will make communication, unless you have any other means, nigh on impossible at this point. If you speak to your friends, even if you're right by their ear, they are not going to hear a thing.
Joy.
So, Otto, you are 50 foot away from the creature, 30 foot away from the ship. All of you can see Otto heading back to you at speed, and all of you can see this fucking massive bird. So, sorry, a second. Let me get the book out.
There we go.
It's never a good thing when the DM starts looking at the stats.
Oh, I'm not looking at the stats.
No, it's not the monster manual, so...
Okay.
No, it's probably something far. It is a monster manual.
Oh, is
It's
it?
not a monster manual.
Is it not?
No, it's not a monster manual.
It's got a
Could
monster
be
in
one
it.
of 5. So if it's none of those 5, would... Oh dear.
Does a 26 hit your AC, Otto?
Oh yeah.
Okay. As you are retreating at speed, the creature behind you releases a piercing cry that is akin to the sound of the wind screaming. As it almost it turns so that its body is facing the ship fully. Its wings spread wide, and it releases its wings flap once, releasing this massive gust of wind and squally rain, which is accompanied by a booming streak of lightning. As Otto, you take. Do you have spell resistance in the Will-O-Wisp form? Just checking.
No, none at all.
Okay, you take 14 points of lightning damage as you are hit by a lightning bolt, which is being released by this creature. And everyone can roll initiative.
Ow.
Lovely.
Just going to put it out there, I may have a problem. We haven't healed up since the fight with the bony dog.
I know you haven't.
Just putting it out there. Not for yourself, but for the party.
I thought Esther used the belt of healing.
Esther did heal Otto up as much as possible.
Yep.
She's not an adept healer. She's more of a fighter and a baker.
And a candlestick. I was going to say maker, but stealer.
Relocator.
Taker.
Yeah, that's it, yeah. Rolling initiative then. Oh.
That was particularly odd.
It was a bit strange, wasn't it?
I just going to clip that
was
and
the
use that
bird
for the
It's
bird.
a bird, yeah.
I can't find the initiative. Where's the initiative? Oh, it's there. Ooh, fucking hell, Esther. Okay, I'm ready for some numbers if everyone's got them.
Yep.
Yeah, 16 for Ogvar.
1, 5, 16, yep.
Natural 20 plus 8 for a 28.
Then you get to piss it off first then.
Yeah, I was just thinking.
Otto.
20 total. 30.
20. So 30 was that?
No, a dirty 20.
Dirty 20, sorry, I thought you said 30.
I thought he said 30.
It did sound like 30, okay.
I'll take 30.
I'm going to...
So that's a huge bonus on initiative.
You can do it. Almost.
13 on the creature, so we're going to go top of the round is going to be Elora. Then we're going to go to Esther. Then we're going to go to Otto. Then Ogvar. And then the creature. I just need to roll some hit points. So I'm going to need some d8s. Let me just get this rolled up. Sorry, just roll some die. 5. Can I have some more d8s?
How much you need?
I can lend you a couple. Might have to wait
13
for a bit.
more.
13?
How many?
13 more.
Cross, we need 3.
I can do that.
Well, just how many you've got?
1, 2,
3, 4, 5, 6. There's 7.
8, 9, 10.
10. Thank you.
I'll probably get some more somewhere. Unless you.
No, it's fine. I'll just re-roll 3. That's fine. That's a lovely sound.
It's a scary sound.
2, 4, not for us.
Okay, so...
6 years later, she's added up the dice.
I'm just going to get the calculator out because it's just easier.
It's not good, is it?
So,
It's a cop out, that one.
8 times 3.
Maybe it's doing a nice healing spell on everybody. And these are how many hit points we're getting back.
You get 6,000 hit points back. I think
We
if
just
I got that,
misinterpreted the.
just kill the party a different way from overhealing. Oh god.
Rick,
Yeah.
you know when you said I'm going to do something stupid?
Hey, I warned you.
Yeah, we
I don't think it was much more of a warning as it was just a statement. I can't remember this decision being put to the committee.
statement of intent.
Well, he can be a little impulsive sometimes. By which I mean me.
No, surely
Might be a
not.
little bit immobile soon.
Where would be the fun in not doing things like this?
Oh, exactly.
Are those yours?
Yes.
Here we go. And those are yours.
Are we going to need these again?
You might be rolling up a new character.
No, wrong answer.
Okay.
Okay.
So, top of the round, Elora.
As the light faded after what had been a long day, the party partook in an evening meal before retiring for much needed rest. With night watches assigned and everyone settled, it would appear that things were not destined to be tranquil for our heroes. A seemingly distant weather warning was to indicate incoming trouble. Elora elected to awaken Esther, and together they roused the rest of the crew as something very large and potentially lethal was making a beeline for both boat and the brethren upon it. Thanks for listening, and join us again next week in episode 160. Hey, you made it this far, so lend us your ears for a moment longer if you will. Firstly, we are most humbled that you are enjoying our yarn, and the crew thank you from the bottom of their hearts for your patronage. Producing this podcast is incredibly hard work, and as such, if you would like to support us, there are a few ways in which you could really make a difference. Sharing links to friends and family helps to spread the word so others like you can find us, and in turn they too can enjoy the show. Equally helpful is leaving a 5-star review on Spotify and any other streaming services, which will help us immensely. Or, if you feel you could go that extra mile and contribute a few coppers to keep our creative juices flowing, you can hop on over to our Buy Me a Coffee page or drop us an email. We would all be immensely grateful for your support in any form. Lastly, we invite you to visit our website, where you will find information on our campaign from backstories to settings. Join our Facebook group or follow us on Twitter. All the links are in our episode bios. Don't forget to smash the subscribe and download buttons so you never miss the next episode. See you all again next week, folks.